I've got a question for you. Who's the most generous person that you've ever met? As you think about that, for me, it is my parents. I know I'm biased, but if you ask my dad, he would say it is my mom. They didn't have the money of Bill and Melinda Gates and others, but what they had, they gave in a way that brought joy to people who needed to have their spirits raised by someone who remembered and cared about them. I thought about this question after I read and prayed over today's gospel reading, especially when Jesus asked the question, "Are you envious because I am generous?" If we're honest, I think most of us would feel like those who had worked hard all day in that vineyard and then saw the others who worked less and in some cases a lot less for the same pay that they did. Well, Jesus didn't have a human resources department. But what he did have and does have is an unlimited generosity, whether in material or spiritual matters. Looking back at my folks' generosity to my brother and me, it was manifest in their sacrifice to provide us with not only the basics, but also the baseball gloves and the soccer cleats and all the opportunities that young boys ask for. But what I am most grateful for was their generous attention and patience. We didn't require as much attention as St. Augustine's mother Monica gave, but still we needed our fair share of both tough love and countless second chances. Keep in mind, I wasn't the brother that the people thought would be the priest, so I know a lot about second chances. You know, if you think about today's gospel from a spiritual perspective, a spiritual journey, imagine for a moment that the workers who began at dawn in that vineyard, they're the ones who we could think of as baptized as infants. And each group beginning at 9 and noon and 3 and 5 p.m., those are the ones who came to the faith later in life. Well, some might say, well, that's a pretty good deal, to cross the finish line of faith and get to go to heaven, just as those who are cradle Catholics. Well, that's one way to see it, but I think it misses the point in at least two ways. The first is the uncertainty that each of those laborers had before the landowner signed them up for work. And the second is the profound fulfillment of working for a landowner who values your efforts, a feeling we can all relate to, each in our own way as we serve such a generous God. Ask anyone who's come to believe in Jesus as an adult, and they will tell you that their previous life was not all that they wanted it to be. There was uncertainty and many roads traveled that didn't end with what they had hoped for. If they could, they would have wanted to have known and loved Jesus from the time they were born. My brothers and sisters, today is a great day to thank God for his generosity to us and to our families. The gifts he has given in the people we love and the friendships we share. To give thanks for the abilities we have to work and to help one another. And the meaning that our days possess through seeking to do God's will. I thank God for my family, beginning with my parents, and all those like yourselves that he has brought into my life. I thank God for his care and attention and the countless times he has forgiven me and led me back along the right paths, including to serve him and you as his priest. We all have examples of God's generosity, and our presence here today at this Mass is our thanks to God, one that recognizes how good and generous God has been and is to us. May we begin and end each day thanking God for what he has given to us in so many ways.